Guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Florida Treasure Coast Market Update. We've been looking at condos. We've been looking at townhouses. We've been looking at HOAs. Stay tuned. And now we're going to look at single-family homes outside of HOAs.
You better get fired up.
All right, guys. Happy Wednesday. We're here every single Wednesday at 11 o'clock where we go through the Florida Treasure Coast Market Update, focusing on a different part of the market. And today, we haven't done single-family homes outside of HOAs in a while, just to kind of see the health of that particular market. So let's get in and do it, man. Let's take a look at it. Give me a second here, and I am going to share my screen. What I'm going to bring up when I do share screen is, there we go. This is the MLS. So this is the multiple listing service where every realtor inputs their listings, right? You get a new listing, you put it on here, and then this feeds out to a bunch of things called IDX feeds, which go out to websites like Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, Realtor, eXp Realty, Keller Williams, Coldwell Banker, Remax, you name it, goes out to all the biggest websites. Anywhere you search, it's coming from the MLS, right? This is the hub of everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to punch in, oh, you got to spell it right, Port St. Lucie. And let's start by looking at actives, and then let's go type single family detached. And then I'm going to come down to add a field, homeowners association, none. So currently we got 942 homes that are in Port St. Lucie for sale, not in HOAs. Okay, 942. And I want to break that down. Let's just do, let's say 2 price points. I really think up to 400 has been pretty doggone good. Anything over is a little bit cooler. I tell you what, I'm going to break it into 3 price points. So let's go list price up to 400,000 is 306. Okay. And then we're going to go, let's say 400 to 550, because that's such a major price point in this city. We've got 493 at 400 to 550. Okay. And then we're going to look 550 and above. So that includes 550. It includes $1 million, $2 million, $5 million, whatever. All right. We've got 157. So there we go. Again, that's 306 up to 400, 493 from 4 to 550, which is the biggest, right? That's just 150 grand window there, and that's by far the biggest. And 157 at 550 plus. So now what I want to do, and before we do this, let's hit the list button. Let's look at all of them, all 942. I'm going to hit the list button. And let's take a look at how many have been on for a cumulative of 90 days or more. 1,015 days, 886 days, 855, 785, 585. Holy smokes. 365 days or more. You've got 23 out of 942. That's a ton. A ton. 300 plus, you're looking at 43. Out of 942. All right, that's what, 5% ish, a little less, maybe 4. Let's go down to 200 days. 200 days is what? That's 6 months, 2 weeks, 6 months, 3 weeks. 106 out of 942. Let's get my trusty calculator out. That's 11.25%. Have been on for at least 200 days. Let's come down to 100 days. And you got to remember, a lot of these contracts expire at 180 days. And people will purposely pull them off for at least 30 days. So when they put them back on, the days on market starts at 0. All of those are not included in this. These are just people who decided to stay on, didn't take that 30-day break, and you're seeing the cumulative continue to rack up. So there's more out there that have been on for a while. So like this listing right here at 138 days, it's possible that it was on for 180 days prior, waited 30 days, came back on, and now they're on another 138 days for a total of 318 days. It's possible. You'd have to go in and look at the history. So what I'm saying is these homes have been on longer than it looks, okay? At 100 plus days, man, we really got to dig here. Here we go. 338. 338 divided by 942. That's 35.89%. 0.88%. So that's over a third of all listings have been on 100 plus days. How many have been on at least 30 days? Because I always say the amount of activity that you're going to get in the first 3 weeks, it's not quite 30 days, but it's close. The first 3 weeks is equivalent to the next 5 months in 1 week. Okay. So if you get 10 showings in the first 3 weeks, I'd be willing to bet you're going to get about 10 showings in the next, what are there, 26 weeks? So in the next 23 weeks. If you get 5 showings in the first 3 weeks, you're probably going to get 5 showings over the next 23 weeks. That's how critical those first 3 weeks are. So let's come down to 30 days. And that's not even 3 weeks, but let's look at 30 days. Man, we really got to dig here. We're at 37, 34, 33. Here we are. Right here. 695. 695 divided by 942. That's 74% of all homes have been on at least 30 days. And again, you got to remember, some of these that are under 30 days, they have been on longer. Okay, they just took a little bit of a break and they're coming back on. So now I want to come back and I want to go to edit search and we're going to go to closed. And let's look in the last 6 months. So today is 7/16. We're going to go back to 1/16. Oh, I got to put it in there right though. There we go. And all right, what else am I messed up on? That looks good. That looks good. That looks good. Where's my price? Price, I have nothing. Okay, perfect. So, oh, it's going to mess with me. Okay, so let's do that and then change that and then it'll update. We got 1,265 that have sold in the last 6 months, okay? This is outside of HOAs. So if I've got 1,265 that have sold and 942 active, divided by 1,265 times 6 months, we're looking at about 4.47 months of inventory. I always say 3 to 4 months is a pretty neutral market. 4.47 months. Is that a buyer's market? Sure, but it's a very light buyer's market. Much different than the NHOA markets, the condo markets, the townhouse markets. Much tougher. Much tougher. And I want to break this down. So right now we're looking at 4.47 months. Let's start breaking it down by those price points and see who's getting hit and who's doing great. All right. So I'm going to come down to add a field. Oh, got to spell it right. What's up with my spelling today? Sold price. And the first price window we created was up to 400 grand. So we had 666 sales. That's kind of scary. And we got 306 active. So when I take 306 divided by 666 times 6, that's 2.76 months. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but based on what I previously said, 3 to 4 months, in my opinion, is a neutral market. That puts this at a light seller's market. Everybody's telling you, man, the market's getting destroyed. It's getting crushed. You've got to come in 20, 30, 40 grand low. You're going to get the sweetest deals. There are people that I'm telling, hey, your home is worth 350, and they're saying, let's start at 360, 370. Those are the people sitting on for 50 days, 100 days, 150 days. The people who are pricing their homes right are getting their homes sold quickly, and they're selling it for market value. I've had multiple that I've brought on that aren't in an HOA, that are priced below $400,000. They're priced right? They're at the comps. And a couple of them are getting multiple offers. This is in the last 90 days. A lot of them are going under contract right away. So if you're hearing these stories, the biggest mistake you can make is do not think that that applies to the entire market. It applies to sectors of the market. And if you're going to go after a sector, you've got to make sure it's your sector, the sector you're interested in. If you're coming in 20, 30, 40 grand low on this particular market, up to 400 grand, not in an HOA, and you're consistently coming in 20, 30 grand under, or maybe just 10 grand under, but you want them to pay another 10, 15,000 in your closing costs, you're going to consistently lose, and you're not going to understand why. So guys, here's some helpful information to kind of show you where you've got strength and where you don't have strength. Let's take it to that 400 to 550 price point. All right, 400 to 550. You can see right up here, we got 553 sales. Let's bring out that trusty calculator. 493 divided by 553 times 6. We're looking at 5.35 months. That's a little cooler. I'm saying 3 to 4 months is neutral, 5.35. It's not 2008, but it is a cooler market. It is a buyer's market. Is it an incredibly strong buyer's market? No, but it is a buyer's market. Now, I'm not going to dig into this, but I'd be willing to bet if you have a pool, that number looks a little bit better for sellers. If you don't have a pool, it probably looks a little bit worse. If you get a $550,000 home and you don't have a pool, that's a little tougher to sell them with a pool. Now, I will say this. Let's just take a $550,000 home, two of them. One has a pool, one doesn't. And they're both worth, not listed at, but actually worth $550,000. The one without a pool, the house is going to be better. Maybe the lot is bigger. Maybe the roof is newer. Maybe it's got more square footage. Maybe it's got more updates, whatever it is. But it's got something there because this home with the pool, that it has the value of the pool. Typically, a pool is going to be valued around $45,000, $55,000, depending upon the pool and a million other things. But let's just call it 50 grand. That means this other home, if it's worth the same amount and it doesn't have a pool, something else about that property has to be worth roughly $50,000, right? So that comes back to the amenities, the square footage, the lot, whatever it is, right? So just remember that. Now, let's do one last one, and then we'll get out of here, guys. Man, it sounds like a homework assignment. It is. If you're a serious buyer, a serious seller, this is your homework. You should be looking at this consistently to position yourself best. Your realtor should be educating you on all this. So you know, can I be at the higher end of prices? Do I have to be at the lower end of prices? Why? Where's the supporting data? That's what I would want if I'm you, and that's what I'm hoping I'm ingraining in you guys. So we got 76 sales at 550 plus. Okay. So when I take 157 divided by 76, I was like, where's it calculating here? 157 divided by 76 times 6 months, you're looking at 12.39 months. Woo! That's a much different market. Over a year of inventory for single family homes outside of HOAs that are 550 or more. So when you get someone telling you the market is getting destroyed right now, I would say, really, which market? Oh, the real estate market. No, not true. In Port St. Lucie, I can say the 550 plus non-HOA single family home market is getting hit really hard right now. 12 months of inventory, that is no joke, a buyer's market. Okay. I remember in 08, we had anywhere from 18 to 30 months of inventory, and we're at 12.39 months right now. That's not 2008, but it is not good. I would not want to be selling my $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 home right now. I wouldn't. You're going to, so if you've got, let's say you've got a home, all the comps, the sold comps, forget active comps, right? That's just wishes and nothing more than that. The sold comps are showing that your home is worth, let's say, $650,000. That might mean you need to be priced at $625,000. Why? You might be saying, Joe, that's crazy. 12 months of inventory. There's a good chance you could be at $650,000 and you're not going to sell. Right? Now it's got to match your motivation, everything else. Maybe you're not as motivated. Okay, $650,000, but a lot of people are going to say, let's try $700,000. Let's try $675,000. That is not going to work in this particular market of 550 plus. Okay. Now we go back down to those up to 400,000 homes. That's a different story because there we've got 2.76 months of inventory. So if I'm telling you, hey, your home is worth 325, I don't like that example for a different reason. Hey, your home is worth 320, and you say, can we try 325? I'm going to say, hey, as long as you know it comps out at 320 and you know we're not going to get quite as many showings, quite as much interest, the higher we go, absolutely. I don't think that's crazy at all. But if I tell you your home is worth 650 and you want to start at 675, I'm going to tell you you're nuts. I'm going to say, I don't know if we'll get you 650 looking at the market. You got over a year's worth of inventory. You should probably be at 6.25. So to go higher than the comps in a market that's getting absolutely destroyed doesn't make any sense. So the overarching thing I really want you guys to take home here is reading the news and assuming that whatever you read applies to you is just not the way to go about this, not the way to educate yourself. The way to do this is to get a professional to look at your specific neighborhood, your specific price point, your specific situation, and not only tell you what your home is worth, but to show you how strong of a buyer's market or seller's market it is, so you know where you should be in relation to that value that the comps show. And it should also align with your motivation, which is another great part of that conversation you should be having with your realtor. This is a complex situation, and it really takes someone who understands the complexities, the motivation, and all the different variables and scenarios that could pop up. So guys, regardless of whether you are using me or not as your realtor, if you'd like some of this data, I'm more than happy to pull this data for you. I'm more than happy to get you a valuation of your property. I'm more than happy to show you if it's a buyer's market, seller's market, how strong of a buyer's or seller's market it is. And like I said, if you want to go list it with somebody else, that is completely fine. What I want more than anything is a community filled with educated buyers and sellers making smart decisions. So guys, hopefully that was helpful. If you've got an area of the market you'd like me to focus on next week, again, we're here every single Wednesday at 11 o'clock. Feel free to send it in a private DM, or you can put it in the comments, and I'm more than happy to look in your specific HOA, vacant lots, waterfront, whatever it is you're interested in, and we'll do a deep dive on it. Guys, thanks for joining me. Have an absolutely phenomenal rest of your Wednesday. Take care.